Jimmy V is not a huge fan of when I do this, but luckily for us, he's not on the show. I'm giving everybody a point on that round because you guys were just lights out. I am just feeling great about the collective future of this panel right here. Next up, we're going to have a little fun with this one. We are, or we better, or I'm going to be really disappointed and take everybody's points away. Who is the most famous contact on your phone? Start us off, Steve.
Man, I feel embarrassed to say this, going through and everything that we've gone through in the last few years.
It's okay, boy.
I think the most famous person in my phone is Pace Morby, right? I mean, I think there's an element of like, he's outgrown all of us. It was a point where I was the real estate broker. He was my general contractor. I was referring him like these tiny bids for $700 or $1,200, and he was helping my clients. And this entire relationship has changed. Like, man, now I call him, I hope he answers. Because, man, it's impossible to get that guy on the phone. So I think, having an A&E TV show, having his cult following and everything else, I think at this point, he's probably the most famous person I have on my phone.
All right. Well, one for Pacer. All right, Leon, what about you? Who is the most famous contact in the Barnes phone?
It's so funny that Steve said Pace because the first two people I thought of were Pace and Ryan Pineda, because both of those guys have hit rocket ships with social media and their followings and the tribes that they have, and it's well earned. They both deserve it. They've worked really hard. So outside of this panel and those two guys, I've met a lot of famous people. I've never asked them for their phone numbers because I think that would be kind of weird, quite frankly. I was this close to getting Shaq's number one time when meeting him in person, and unfortunately I didn't get his number. But I've been very blessed to meet some pretty famous people, maybe not famous to a lot of people in CG as keynote speakers. The most well-connected of all of our speakers is Mr. Jeff Huffman. He happens to be in my phone. He's one of the founders of Priceline, and we all have him to thank for the digital ticket that is offered at airline tickets. He invented that machine, the kiosk, and so I've met more NBA and NBA and Major League Baseball players through him, and he's by far probably the most famous person in my phone.
All right. RJ, what about you? Who do you have that's famous in your phone?
Yeah, when I was thinking about my answer here, it's funny because famous is all depending upon who you're talking to. And so my son plays hockey, and because of that, I actually have two Stanley Cup champion players, former players in my phone, Brad Lukowich and Kevin Colley. To the hockey community, the fact that you have a Stanley Cup champion's phone number is a big deal. To you guys, it's probably like, I mean, that's cool, but they're not famous. I don't even know their names.
They're not Wayne Gretzky.
Right, exactly. On a social media level, I mean, there's Ryan Pineda, Max Maxwell, Carlos Reyes. These people have millions of followers across. To some people, that's famous. And then on the TV side and also in the real estate, Pace and Jamil. So I really just think it depends on who you're talking to, because to some people, Ryan Pineda is nobody. To other people, it's like, holy cow, that's the guy with the pink hair. That's a big deal.
I love how you gave the shout out for the pink hair there. I'm not even mad at that. That's great right there. All right, CJ, we're dying to know, whose digits do you got?
Yeah, so since I went last, I was sitting here and I was listening, and I text my cousin who works at the Bowen plant up in Connecticut, and I said, "Yo, have you ever heard of Ryan Pineda and Pace Morby?" And he said, "Dude, who the hell is that?" Right? So in my phone, look, the most famous person I guess in my phone is two welterweight champion Andre Berto. I've been talking a lot with him here recently about real estate investing. He's doing some wholesaling, doing some investing in single families. We connected on Instagram a while back and have kind of just been chopping it up here and there about what he's doing in the business. And so I'd say he's probably the most famous person in my phone for sure.